and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your black.
Keep following the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Been through more than a little bit, been through more than a little bit, but I ain't calling no names out, no free promotion, nah, I ain't late, I don't do due dates, no sneak this, no sneak, that's just how I was raised, had to get it out the soil, I've been down, I've been loyal, when you really hold it down, they ain't he really down for ya, oh no, what a shame, 10 years in the game, like you ain't hot, you ain't pop, yes, up with you and yay. The concrete, you know it ain't sweet. Can't tell me anything. It be the ones who say they ride for you. It be the ones you love them too.
Welcome back. Happy Wednesday. It's your timeline translator, Jill Munroe, and you are locked in on KBLA Talk 1580 for your entertainment news update. Listen. Andy's always on theme, right? So shout out to Teyana Taylor. We have an update on her that impacts her health. And you know, Teyana has a new album dropping in a couple weeks. Will this impact it? We'll get into those details. And we also have a little bit of bad news. Soul Train Awards and the BET Hip Hop Awards are going to be no more, at least on linear TV. Rest in peace to an era. We're going to get into that and those details behind the decision and some other behind the scenes things and what the future might be. And also want to talk a little bit about our legacy properties, things that have meant so much to generations. You know, we've talked about this with Ebony and Jet magazine, which they're still around kind of in different iterations. Now we're hearing this news. So how can we move forward and still preserve the past? We'll get into a little bit of that. And Piers Morgan and Megyn are out here clutching their pearls over Beyonce's Levi ad. And of course, you know, they're comparing it to Sydney Sweeney and her American Eagle denim ad. We'll get into those details. And of course, since we're talking legacy, Birdman is talking about how he plans to crystallize the Cash Money legacy and who with. You're not going to believe that. Because, you know, when Birdman speaks Cash Money, we got to listen a little bit, right? But first, you know, from forgiveness letters and federal courthouses, we're starting with a little conversation topic of Gina Hua. She is defending Diddy again. We know she wrote a letter to the judge asking for him to be released. And it was, of course, shot down. But she's clapping back on Twitter, X. You know, victim number 3 who backed out of the federal case. Diddy's model and ex-girlfriend. She popped back up on Instagram. Well, I'm sorry. It was X. And she's clapping back at you haters that have something to say. She says, "You sheep act like I can't forgive a man I once loved. I'm not going to kick him while he's down because y'all want me to. I'm going to always have his back." And she added, "Y'all for real need it. It's time for y'all to raise y'all frequencies and self-awareness." So, you know, we didn't hear from her. We heard a lot about her. We heard that she was a thorn in not only Cassie's side, but also Jane Doe. So, you know, she's standing by her man, didn't go on trial. I guess she hopes to be the last man standing when he comes home. Forgiveness, I think that is up to the individual. It's a choice. Everybody else may not, but certainly she is the one who endured whatever she endured. So if that's how she feels, that's how she feels. Forgiveness, fear, or finesse, we'll have to see. women do double back. Men do too. So we'll see what happens. Good luck with that. And it is Wednesday. So, of course, we're going to get up all in the business tonight. That means that Damon Haley is back in the building. Entrepreneur, author, all of the things, strategist, owner of Glow and Flow Beauty, Hawthorne and Inglewood, as well as Slay Hair, 3 Ys. Don't forget it. So we're going to be talking with him because former NBA star Jay Williams, he was on ESPN for a period of time. Not sure if he got let go in the big switch over. Not sure. He's still there? Okay, shout out to Andy. He's still there. We got a little update from him. Speaking of ESPN, I almost let this slip by. And of course, we'll get DH's opinion on this. It has just been announced that they have purchased the NFL network for a 10% stake in it. They said it is to touch the fan in more places, to keep things together and moving forward and giving fans the amount of content that they hope to lock into. Certainly seems interesting. Andy?
I'm a red zone guy, NFL. And I think the main concern was that, with the merger or whatnot, that show was going to be tainted, that host was going to be gone. So they're keeping Brother Scott Hansen, for those who watch the Red Zone. So that's great news. But I just hope they don't change anything else. Just keep it the way it is. I don't want to see Stephen A. on the Red Zone. I love Stephen A., but I don't want to see him there.
Well, we will see what happens soon enough because, preseason starts tomorrow, right? Today?
Started with the Hall of Fame game.
Well, yeah, but, that's the Hall of Fame game. That's different.
They call it that.
It's that.
Yeah. I want to echo up on Andy. I exclusively was only doing Red Zone. I wasn't watching any games back in the day. So I loved it. I loved the Red Zone. And that would be my fear with meshing it with ESPN who does games.
Well, we will see.
Yeah.
We got time. Certainly. We'll see how they roll it out, plan it out. So much happening. It's the business. And we'll get into a little bit of those type of things when we come forward and discuss the Soul Train and BET Awards being no more. All of that and more on the other side. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ride with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
One thank you. Yeah.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Okay, first up, if at any point you want to get in on the conversation, 800-920-1580, of course. Hit me up at Stiletto Jill. Hit us up, KBLA 1580. Hit DH up, Damon Haley. If at any point I said that you want to call in, 800-920-1580, reiterating, download the app. We appreciate that. The YouTube chat, they're already in there. Getting it popping. We love them in there. Shout out to them. Listen, I have tickets for the Hollywood Bowl tonight to see, I have tickets to give away tonight. The show isn't tonight. Just clarifying. The show is actually August 28th. It's Sarah Band African, and it features Angelique Kidjo, Yo-Yo Ma, Thierry Vonton, David Donation, and others. It is, Yo-Yo Ma is a world-renowned cellist. Angelique is a vocalist. It is the meeting of two musical greats, as they term it. And, I got tickets for you. Not now, but later. Not now, but later, when I tell you to call in. And as a side, Deborah Bradley, call back in. Call back in for me.
Nah, just email Jill. That's it.
But maybe she did, and something was wrong. Like maybe she wrote something down wrong or whatever.
Call back.
Yeah, call us. Holla at your girl. Because, you want to go see Babyface, right? Right. All right, so let's get into these trending topics and headlines. We know that the Soul Train Awards went away, I believe, in the early 2000s. Once Soul Train was off the air, they tried to keep the property going for a little bit longer. Just wasn't clicking. And by that point, the BET Awards had clocked in. BET Awards started, I believe, we just celebrated like the 20th, 25th anniversary or so. I believe they started around 2002, 2001, somewhere in there. Maybe a little more, right? Then BET added the Hip Hop Awards. The Hip Hop Awards around 2005, 2006. I actually was working at the network for some of those earlier shows. And, for a minute, the Hip Hop Awards were kind of giving the BET Awards in some way, as far as youth and views, I wouldn't say a run for their money, but it was a property that seemed to be on the uptick. Okay? It was a little more youthful, a little more connected to the culture in a different sort of way, in that, being that it was youthful, it was always based in Atlanta. And Atlanta, as I've discussed, is really the center, culturally speaking, right? We know every place got it. Y'all got y'all things. We all got our things. I'm going to tell you, LA is the center of culture each and every time. But technically, Atlanta is, when you think about brands and their thought process, that is what they think of as the center of urban culture, of black culture, right? Where things are started, trends, clothing, all of the things, right? BET picked up the property of the Soul Train Awards to continue the tradition along. They moved it to Las Vegas. We saw, I think it was the pandemic year, they kind of took it online, in studio, dialed down. We saw the version that some people felt like it looked like it was in someone's backyard. Technically it was, but it was a mansion. And now Scott Mills has announced, remember, BET is under Paramount. Paramount has just been sold to Skydance, and there are lots of changes happening. We saw possibly, we talked about the Paramount merger kind of being held up, so to speak, based on their lawsuit that Donald Trump had filed against them based off of a 60 Minutes episode. They settled that. They paid Trump $16 million, and ta-da-da-da, the merger went through. Now we're seeing CBS talk about eliminating some of their, more woke programs and things of that nature. And then this is happening with BET. Let me say this, though, right? Outside of what we may think, feel, and believe and see happening as far as programming and changes that seem to be on the horizon based off of this new administration and their pressure on these media entities, people weren't watching the Hip Hop Awards or the Soul Train Awards. Soul Train had started to pick back up somewhat ratings-wise, but live programs are very expensive to produce, right? One of the things that it's gotten better with BET Awards as of late, but there was a period of time, especially in the 2000s, where in the 2000s, Andy says, in the early 2000s, we're talking the early 2010s. Listen to me. You just listen to me. Listen to me where I'm going. Listen. Where sometimes our black stars did not want to show up for our black events, i.e. the Soul Train Awards, the BET Awards for a time period. It was hard to get them there, right? But they would show up for things like the VMAs or other things, It happened. There was a time when, certain black artists, maybe their label, maybe their management, maybe it wasn't them personally, but found more value in these other properties, right? And all of us now are highlight watchers on social media. Am I going to watch the whole program, or am I just going to watch the clips of the performances later? That's the kind of environment we're dealing in. We have seen Netflix now have some success with live events streaming on their network. Some of them big sporting events, things like Pop the Balloon Live is obviously in a studio. Doesn't kind of have the same flavor and feel, perhaps, as the YouTube version, but it is in studio, a live event weekly. Scott Mills, who is the CEO of BET and also was rumored to be in contention with some others to buy BET if it was spun off from Skydance Media. That still could be potentially up in the air. He confirmed that those shows will no longer be being produced, the Soul Train Awards and the Hip Hop Awards, but said that they won't be on BET Linear, but they could find a home on BET Plus or in some type of streaming capacity, as we've seen the industry change. So I know that was a lot, but DH, what are your thoughts on kind of the changing of live events, things that were meant to be an in-person experience that are now losing their luster, especially as we're talking about some of our legacy brands? We've seen Ebony and Jet up for sale, be rescued. They're no longer in print. Sometimes there's special print versions. And this seems to be a continuation or an extension of that. Knowing that media is changing, though, and how we consume, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah.
Got to get your theme music in there first. Got to hit it. Got to get the cash. Got to get the cash.
Yeah. No, I do think it is a changing of how we consume content and how we consume and how we push out media. So that's the first thing. So we do know, print stuff is no longer print and all of that. So when we look at in real life IRL programming, will people still come out in droves? Can you still fill audiences? Will brands and sponsors still see this as a premium way to finance all of this? Mm-hmm. And then when you bundle it, does it still, we know people aren't going to sit around and watch for an hour and a half. We know,
right.
Yeah, Super Bowl halftime show. people gonna watch whoever that is, right? And same thing, you know, American Music Awards, who's performing, you know, that kind of stuff. We don't care about the awards and all that stuff no more because the world is moving faster. So I do think that unfortunately it has to go with ownership. So we don't own it.
Right.
It's owned by a conglomerate that's making statistical data, stockholder-driven decisions. And so once there's a downtick with not only this but anything, it gets bumped up for something else. And what's the remix? What's the new thing? Streaming is it? Small bites is it? The 2-hour performances? That's not it. The only that halftime Super Bowl show might be the only appointment concerting that becomes it.
Well, I mean, when you think about things like Ken and Friends, the Pop Out last year, that did really well. Amazon Music, after their Thursday night NFL broadcast, does a live concert that they stream. I don't know how well it has been doing for them, but I see buzz about it. They are certainly, you know, targeting the acts. So I think that it can be. I look at something like NPR. I think that Tiny Desk is something that could be streamed, that could be appointment TV, so to speak. I think, though, what you're right is that waiting for the accolades, because we, as we frequently discussed here, we see these people day in, day out. We know what they look like first thing in the morning, right before they go to bed, how they work out, where they get sweaty at, all of it.
And there's so many awards these days.
Right, because it's a way to generate money.
Right. It's just so many awards, and pretty soon that's going to go away. So you're right. What's the occasion, the award? Well, you've gotten 6 or 7 this year already, and random people are doing awards. And I see what you, like you say, I'm getting ready with you every morning. So it doesn't surprise me for them to take their best one and put all their energy into just one. But it would be interesting if they would do it geographically, because that's how it used to be in terms of in real life, because everybody's not going to travel to wherever the BET Awards is. But that Atlanta piece with hip hop, it made sense back then, just to service and feed that beast of Atlanta, you know. So I think that it was more of a business decision. It was probably data driven, but it is hard to get brands and get that investment in so many. And we just see these artists and actors, artists and entertainers and performers every day, and we don't need them to be awarded because the awards essentially don't mean nothing anymore.
Yeah, not as much.
Just don't mean as much.
It's a social media thing. We have a caller on the line, Eric from Carson. Welcome in, Eric. Always great to hear from you. What's on your mind tonight?
What's up, Jill and DH?
What's up?
I think the Soul Train Awards, for me, is a bigger loss than the BET Hip Hop Awards, as long as we're not talking about the BET Awards, which just came on recently that I really enjoyed. And, you know, I grew up, you know, with a catalog of CDs. I have CDs still in a catalog, and it meant something to me to go out and purchase a CD. I can't do that now. I have to stream. And so, for me, I think this is serious because TV has advantages. It's reliable, it's live, it's engaging for real time, and I feel like streaming doesn't offer these things. And you know, Damien talked about things like the IRS, in real time. I just feel like we can justify why these conglomerates are making these decisions, but you know, this is something that I'm going to miss. As soon as I heard that, I felt a loss. It's like, you know, it's like they're taking something else away. Here we go again. And it's like our world now, I'm wrapping up. We're moving in this fast pace and everything is snap, snap. Tomorrow, I'm sick of it. And so this is another thing that I'm going to have to accept. And Soul Train Awards, I think Stephen Hill is responsible for that. So now,
no. Stephen Hill has not been. I know Stephen Hill. Again, I worked at BET. Stephen Hill has not been with BET in a number of years. So these properties.
I thought he was with the Soul Train Awards.
He might have contributed something to it, but the Soul Train Awards are still owned by BET. The production of said award show. in a lot, not all, but in some instances, was Collins Entertainment, which produces the regular BET Awards, the ones you love so much and the ones you love not so much, both, as well as the Academy Awards and some other things. So, Well,
let me jump in. So,
you got 2 minutes.
Condolences to you, Eric, on your loss. But
my loss.
On your loss, right? Because Soul Train was an era, and hip hop as we know it was an era. And so what they're saying is we're moving to something else. But what can happen if we owned it and enough people cared about it, Soul Train could move around to touch people like you in a tour to get those artists that made Soul Train. Because when you do Soul Train highlights, it's not new artists.
Right.
So somebody can take that and put it in a different format if somebody is in those rooms to help you. Same thing with what we know as old school, maybe hip hop and all that kind of stuff.
We saw what happened with Versus. So you could have a Soul Train tour, a BET hip hop tour. I mean, they've done that before.
And Tiny Desk revived a lot of careers, got people back, on stage. So it's conversations like this that hopefully find their place in the offices of BET to say, let's just do it a different way, but let's not get rid of the equity of these shows.
I feel that. When we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics and headlines. And now is the time. If you want tickets to see African, Angelique, and Yo-Yo Ma at the Hollywood Bowl, August 28th, call right now, 800-920-1580.
These 6 months just came from my dentist. I can tell it ain't genuine. I get so offended. Grew out the concrete. You know it ain't sweet. Can't tell me anything. It be the ones who say they ride for you. It be the ones you love, them too. It be the ones who swear they real, not true. It be the ones. Don't get caught up, it be the ones you're closest to. It be the ones you trust.
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. 5 soldiers are recovering after a shooting at Fort Stewart in Georgia. The shooter is in custody and no deaths have been reported. The base, which houses 15,000 troops about 40 miles from Savannah, has been given the all clear. Governor Brian Kemp says he's in close contact with law enforcement, and the White House confirms President Trump has been briefed. Sean Diddy Combs is seeking a pardon from President Trump after being convicted in New York on prostitution-related charges. Trump confirmed Combs' team reached out but said he's unlikely to grant it, noting Diddy's past hostility during his campaign. And Tennessee has executed a black man, 69-year-old Byron Black, for the 1988 murders of his girlfriend and her 2 daughters. Despite concerns his heart device might cause pain, the execution proceeded. Witnesses said Black showed visible distress, saying, quote, "This is hurting so bad," end quote. The victim's relatives were present. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
You're slowing on the 91 eastbound out of Anaheim from Kramer Glassell all the way to Green River, and that northbound side of the 241 that's loading up from almost Santiago Canyon Road all the way to the 91. Very slow. Chino Hill 71 southbound loading up away from Pine Avenue to the 91. It's also tough as you make your way through the industry area. This is the West 60 coming up before Hacienda Boulevard. They're clearing a crash out of lanes, and it's sending you back away from Nogales.
Spending 2 hours staring at the back of someone's bumper isn't the best way to end your day. So Jack in the Box is giving you a bonus with their new Bonus Jack Combo. Fries, a drink, and a burger with your choice of 1, 2, or 3 patties, starting at just $4.49. Get so much more.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Venus Williams, at age 45, will be back on the tennis court Thursday morning in the first round of the Cincinnati Open. The Compton native will play Jessica Monero of Spain. Monero is 22. She wasn't even born when Venus turned pro in 1994 at age 14. Jen Pawal will be the first female umpire to work a Major League Baseball game. The 48-year-old Pawal will work the weekend series in Atlanta between the Braves and Miami Marlins. On Sunday, Pawal will be behind the plate calling balls and strikes. MLB is a little late with this milestone. The NBA started using female referees in 1997. The NFL used a female ref for the first time in 2015. Cleveland Browns coach Kevin Stefanski says Shedeur Sanders will be his starting quarterback Friday night in the Browns preseason opener against Carolina. Deion Sun is listed 4th on the depth chart among the Browns' 5 quarterbacks. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. 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 Follow the leader.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach, transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal, prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Just tell me, is there any more room for me in those jeans? Looking good, plenty time. Is there any more room for me? Got on my ride.
So I want to let you guys know, a couple of years ago, I dedicated this song with accompanying video on my Instagram, of course, my stories, to one Michael Jeffrey Jordan, because you know Jordan's jeans are legendary, and it looks like there could be room for me and Jordan in them jeans. So that was just a little funny, I thought. Shout out to Andy, he's always on theme. We're gonna be talking about Beyonce's jeans, Sydney Sweeney's jeans, and all of that in a second. Welcome back into KBLA Talk 1580. I thought it was funny. You guys know you laughed a little bit once you got joke of it all. So, listen, prayers up to Teyana Taylor. The singer and actress revealed that she's undergoing immediate vocal surgery after doctors discovered a non-cancerous growth on one of her vocal cords. She posted a message on Instagram. She assured fans that the condition is treatable, but she's going to have to cancel several upcoming appearances, including a scheduled visit to Michelle Obama's podcast. She expressed her disappointment, but said that her album, Escape Room, is still set to be released August 22nd. Take care of your vocals, y'all. We know Whitney had to get something removed from her vocal cords. I think Mariah went through something as well. It's your gift, and it's amazing how much stress and damage can come to it from such a beautiful gift. So, prayers up for Teyana Taylor. Listen, the chat, they're going in on all of these topics. So, let's get to a couple of the comments in here. Forrest Harrison says, Black people in entertainment and business need to circle their wagons and look out for each other. I mean, but what does that look like? We say that all the time. And we do sometimes. I mean, you think about it. Ebony magazine was bought by Junior Bridgman and his daughter, former NBA player, not a star, just a player. At a time when the money wasn't moneying, he passed on earlier this year. He was a billionaire when he passed, according to some, owned several franchises. They saved Ebony magazine and those archives, right? Yeah. Ebony and Jet's archive, their photo library alone should be worth so much. It chronicles our history, our stories, how we talk to each other. So I think that we do, but we also have to look at us sometimes and how we can and sometimes do not or downgrade Black-owned things. We are the hardest on our own. You know, we might let another establishment, maybe owned by others, sometimes slide with some things, or we don't question them as harshly as we do things that are owned by us. Maybe it's just tough love, but sometimes those repercussions have us looking like this. You know, it's kind of the same thing with Essence.
Well, you know, kind of floating back to Eric's comment about he's realistically hurt. I'm sure that when Motown was going through its dissension, people were hurt, or Stax out of Philly. I mean, the things that we start that are revolutionary and part of, you know, our pride factor and push, quote unquote, the culture forward, we just know they could be taken away if we don't own them, if we don't take care of them. So I think it is to say, who cares about Soul Train enough to keep it going? Who cares enough about hip hop? Because when someone gets into a Hall of Fame, a hip hop artist, they're going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right.
So we don't even have that as much money as hip hop has generated and all of that. When whoever the last inductees are to the next one, they're going to go and be proud about it and be happy about it. I mean, one of my moments is when NWA and them got in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and they were happy. So we just got to own it. We got to act like we care about it, because if we don't own it and we don't care about it, it goes away.
We vote and support with our views.
There you go.
That's the bottom line. DJ Black 909 says, more thoughts on BET. Them killing off the Hip Hop Awards and Soul Train Awards was their own doing. Somewhere along the way, they started to traffic and mess, which alienates some big name talent. Maybe, perhaps. But by that same token, they still show up for sometimes some other stuff that can be messy, chaotic, etc., but it's white leaning. So maybe the thought process is that it doesn't reflect on us in the same way. I don't know.
Well, let me share, because some of the stuff, you know, and you know, my wife is in, I would say, was and is still in television. She'll do a red carpet. She'll do what she has to do, and when the after party and all that stuff starts, we just go home. So there's a way to engage if you still care and want to engage. But to totally be separated, it might be tough when you go to your next business meeting, to have to talk about it, but you just say, I went, I did what I was supposed to do and left. What's next on the agenda? So it is hard defending ourselves. It is hard defending black folks sometimes.
And you know what else? And I'll say this, and then we will come forward and get into a couple other things. I won't say the name, but I was talking to someone, an artist, and they, were on a reality show at some point, one known for ratchet foolishness, right? But they had a lot of business that they did with corporations kind of behind the scene and stuff like that. And so I said, don't they get nervous? Aren't they concerned that you're on XX show, right? Or that you're involved in XX things? And this individual was like, they don't even know. They don't watch that. That's not even on their radar. They don't care about that. They care about what I'm bringing and doing over here. And I thought that was incredibly interesting. So it's not on their radar until it is, or until they need it to be, perhaps. When we come forward, we'll get into the Beyoncé jeans ad drama, and Jay Williams, former NBA star. He has a message for young players, and I think it is a message that we can all get into and get involved in, especially if you're about business, because it's all up in the business Wednesdays. Let me get that right. All up in the business Wednesdays. When we come forward, we'll get into that and more trending topics.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay, and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has worksource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So before we jump into this Beyonce jeans ad drama, there's a question for DH in the chat. Pretty Brown Mimi wants to know why you and Diane skip the after parties. Are they less networking and more foolishness? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's the after parties are less networky, and then it gets into Diddy range in terms of some of the stuff that happens at some of that stuff, and it's just always funky. I will say my wife is a homebody. She's a great television personality, but she's a homebody.
That's that cancer.
So we just opt to kind of be the first ones to arrive and the first ones to leave, so.
Shout out to that. I feel that. I got to work the room a little bit, then I'll go home. So listen. Beyonce's latest Levi's ad campaign is sparking a culture war commentary. Per usual, coming off the Sydney Sweeney drama, because, her American Eagle ad says Sydney Sweeney has good genes. People questioned, was that eugenics? That's how you pronounce it, right? Eugenics. Basically promoting, the superiority of the white race. She's white, blonde, blue-eyed, MAGA family. And it caused a lot of discourse. Well, Megyn Kelly went full Fox News on the ad campaign. She called it the opposite of Sydney Sweeney's ad for American Eagle. She says B's image is bought and paid for, claiming there's nothing natural about it. Piers Morgan also chimed in, this was all on X, by the way, comparing her to Marilyn Monroe and accusing her of culturally appropriating Marilyn Monroe and her image, because Beyonce is blonde. She has a little flip hairdo in the thing, and I'm sure Piers didn't remember this, but she did say in the club remix that she was the hottie with the Marilyn Monroe body. I don't know, maybe that's the inspiration. Black women did have a love for Marilyn for a very long time. But I just find it interesting. Levi's is obviously thrilled that Beyonce has helped bring them back to be kind of culturally relevant as far as mainstream. They obviously sponsored a great deal of, she has the song. And yeah, she's in the commercials. And they're one of the sponsors of the tour. That's what I was going to say. DH, any thoughts?
I think it's a great collaboration. Shout out to Kenny Mitchell, brother, who is the CMO of Levi.
Let's go.
And always in those types of conversations. And so, once again, when you're on top, it's only one place that people try to drag you down. They try to pull you down with them. Beyonce's on top. She's on fire. She's a beautiful black woman, and she's making it happen.
I mean, always. She continues going. So listen, we got another topic to get into. We know Cash Money. They are, iconic when you think about indie labels, what they did for the Southern Sound when they dropped. Independent ownership. We've talked a little bit about ownership, right? Well, Birdman says he wants to do a Cash Money documentary. Cool. We need that. We enjoy that. But he wants to do it with DJ Akademiks. He said instead of just doing an interview, he wants to produce a documentary with DJ Akademiks. Has DJ Akademiks ever produced a doc? Not saying that he can't. I'm just wondering why he wants to work with DJ Akademiks on this. A Canadian dude. I know why he's one of the biggest streamers, but really, why? Andy?
You said DJ Akademiks is Canadian?
Isn't he?
Nah.
I mean, not Canadian. what is he? Trinidad? He's
I think like Jamaican.
Jamaican. You're right, Jamaican. Okay. Yeah.
Outside of the fact that, you know, he's probably one of the hottest personalities as far as hip hop goes, people can't forget about. Never mind. That was the Breakfast Club. Excuse me.
Right.
That's what I was thinking of.
All three of y'all.
I thought it was Charlemagne.
That's what I'm saying. What connection? What love? Like I just.
It's Akademiks.
Yeah.
He stirs the pot. So.
But do we need a pot stir with that story?
Why not?
Why? I don't think that it needs that. I think it can just exist.
I think some people might not. At least this generation, they might not really know about the Cash Money legacy like that. So if you got Akademiks who you could say has the pulse of the young generation,
segment, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Why not bridge those gaps? I mean, Birdman obviously has relationships with Lil Wayne. People consider him the GOAT. So I don't see anything wrong with that.
So we'll see what happens, what develops. Listen, Jay Williams, we know that he was a top NBA draft pick many years ago, went to the Chicago Bulls. In the offseason following his rookie year, was riding on a motorcycle, not allowed in his contract, but did it anyway, crashed, and career over. Recently, much like many former athletes, he's gone the podcast route. But his take is a little different. He's not just reminiscing and talking about the current players. He is talking about financial improvement, right? Making your dollars grow, the type of steps that you can take, and from his perspective, lessons that you can take away from these, you know, financially opulent individuals and can apply. Let's listen to a little bit about what he had to say about big money dreams and what he feels the most vital part is of the road to financial freedom, I guess.
My name is Jay Williams, and let me remind you guys, I was a second overall pick in the year 2002 for the Chicago Bulls in the NBA draft.
Jay Williams, head of the field. Williams looking to penetrate and does. Steps up, Marshall down. Williams penetrates, whirls in the lane. Plays it out, yes!
That's 4 years, $16.7 million. Year one, $3.4 million. And at the age of 21, I thought that meant I had financial freedom. But actually, let's run the numbers. Agent, 4%, gone. Federal tax, gone. Jock tax, gone. FICA, gone. And Illinois has state income tax. So after every 1/8, I was looking at just over 1.7 million take home that first year. And that's micro. Let's focus on the macro and zoom out. Bought an expensive condo downtown Chicago, lived next to Oprah. Took care of family, leased the cars, lived the lifestyle, had an EA, had a staff, burned through $500,000 a year just living. And I took meetings with people who talk fast but didn't move smart. And then my accident. A split-second decision. And just like that, that earning window closed. No structure, no system, no second act. And what looked like 16 million on paper felt more like survival mode. Because cash without structure doesn't build power. It just buys time. And in this business, time runs out fast. That rookie contract, it's not financial freedom. It's your only real shot to turn active income into protected capital. And here's what I wish I knew. I'm gonna put you on game. Number 1, set up an S-Corp to collect your salary and 1099 income. Number 2, root that income into a holdco that owns your name, brand, and equity. Number 3, pay the holdco a licensing fee, reducing your taxes. And number 4, wrap it all up in a trust. Funded with a life insurance policy, now you've got tax-deferred growth, access to capital, and family protection for the rest of your life. You see, that's real ownership. That's real architecture. I didn't need more endorsements. What I actually needed was a board. What I actually needed was a system, a way to turn 4 years of opportunity into 40 years of control. Because the reality is, though, anybody can get paid. But if you don't own the blueprint, you'll spend your life being the product.
Now, there was a lot there, an important message. DH, I'm going to turn it over to you to respond to that and drop the gems as you usually do, especially it relates to business, marketing, and strategy. But I do have one question. One of the familiar things that we hear about with athletes, with anyone really coming into new industries, are how they are taken advantage of because they don't know, all of the things. So Jay gave a great blueprint, but how do you know the people that you're talking to aren't talking fast and you're listening slow? Or, how do you break down those aspects of it? Because you get your board, but what if your board isn't trustworthy? How do you balance those things in business, especially stepping into a new arena?
That's a tough one. And I actually know his parents. But that's a tough one. And I'm surprised that he actually got on that motorcycle that day. But I was very surprised. But I would say that board is a big one. So you have to vet out what and who these people are. There's legal, there's financial, there's day-to-day accounting, there's risk management in terms of covering everything yourself and everything. So you do need a collection of people to help you. It can't be your homeboys, your peer group. It has to be highly qualified people. That's the first thing. And it's hard to assess that. Not a business manager or somebody pitching you ideas. Like all that business structure, S Corp, all of that, trust, that stuff you can find. That's easy. But the right people to help you set this stuff up, you just have to vet and ask. And I think that that might be a veteran in the locker room, or now it's just so much access. Like a guy who helps people that I know personally. I know Jordan helps guys, coaches guys. Magic talks about how he's accessible. So now you have a lot of guys and examples. Junior Bridgman, who was a billionaire but wasn't a great player, he was a good mentor. So you got to just find people that want to advise you to get your board. And then he did talk about the system. You do need a system. All of my assets sit in a trust, right? You got to know what a trust is. I have an S Corp. A couple of them, all of that kind of stuff. That's easy stuff that if you have a good financial person and a good accountant, a good lawyer, good risk management, don't nobody go out and shoot me, but I'm worth more dead than alive, So I invest in insurance, and all that kind of stuff. So you have to find these people, and the information's more out there.
15 seconds.
It used to not be. But the information is out there, and your parents might not have it. Our families might not have it. Our community may not have it, but you got to find it somewhere.
Amen to that. Thank you for locking in each and every Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Shout out to Damon Haley for dropping gems on us for All Up in the Business Wednesdays. Make sure that you are back tomorrow, 6 p.m. because, of course, we have more trending topics and headlines, news, all of those good things. Coming up next is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. I'll be back tomorrow. You guys.
That's right. I'm on my own. I'll call my own shots. Thank you. Got my own mind. I wanna make my own decisions. It has to do with my life.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Manhattan's Black DA Alvin Bragg has filed state charges against 2 undocumented immigrants in last month's shooting of an off-duty border agent in Upper Manhattan.
We allege that the shooting of this off-duty officer was part